Another interesting topic. Somebody who professes profusely their love for you, but they won't touch you sexually. What is up with that? They keep saying, I love you. I want to be with you. I don't want to lose you. You're my person. There is no sex, no desire, no initiation, no erotic energy, no real movement towards repair. And you're still there asking yourself, is that even possible? Can someone truly love you, want to be with you, and still not want sex with you? Well, the answer is yes. But that answer is not as comforting as people think. Because love may be real, but love alone does not automatically create desire. And love without honesty, effort, clarity, or a plan can still leave you lonely inside the relationship. So this video is for you. If your partner says all the right emotional words, but your body, your heart, and your nervous system are still starving for intimacy, watch until the end because I'm going to help you understand what may be happening and how to move forward without begging, pressuring, or abandoning yourself. Hi, I am Dr. Tangie, the sex doctor, board certified clinical sexologist. And in this channel, I speak truth without sugarcoating it for direct, honest, and useful answers to your sex and relationship challenges. Subscribe to this channel. Your subscription tells me that you appreciate my work, and it helps this channel grow and reach more people who desperately need these conversations without any financial investment or time from your part. So please do it right now. Find the subscribe button, click on it, like this video, and share it with someone who needs it. Thanks. Now let's talk about what it means when they say they love you and want to stay, but sex is gone. Yes, it is possible to love someone and not want sex. Let's start with the truth. Yes, someone can love you and not want sex. Someone can be attached to you, loyal to you, emotionally bonded to you, and still not experience sexual desire. Someone can value their relationship and still have a body that shuts down sexually. Someone can want the marriage, the home, the family, the companionship, the stability, the history, and still not want erotic contact. Yes, that is possible. But here's the part people miss. Possible does not mean sustainable. Possible does not mean fair. Possible does not mean you're required to accept it forever. Possible does not mean the relationship does not need renegotiation. Because if you want a sexual romantic relationship and they want a loving but non-sexual partnership, then the issue is not whether love exists. The issue is whether the relationship still fits both people. Love and desire are connected, but they're not the same. This is where so many couples get confused. Love says, you matter to me. I care about you. I want you in my life. I do not want to lose you. Desire says, I want to move forward towards you erotically. I want to touch you. I want to be touched by you. I want to feel our bodies connect. I want you as a lover. Those are not identical things. You can have love without desire. You can have desire without healthy love. And in long-term relationships, desire often needs conditions to survive, like emotional safety, repair after conflict, reduced resentment, physical health, hormonal support, low pressure play, novelty, privacy, fun, energy, and a body that does not associate sex with fear, pain, shame, or obligation. So when someone says, but I love you, that may be true, but the next question is, what kind of love is this? Romantic love, erotic love, companionate love, family love, comfort love, attachment love, security love? Because those are not the same relationship. This is the painful question. Do they want you or do they want the relationship? This is the question that hurts. Sometimes a partner wants to keep the relationship, but they do not want the sexual relationship. They want the marriage. They want the house. They want the routines. They want the parenting partnership. They want your emotional support. They want your loyalty. They want the social identity of being together. They want the comfort of not starting over. But they do not want sex. And that creates a very painful mismatch because you're not just asking, do you love me? You're asking, do you want me as a lover? And if the answer is no, then I love you may not be enough. Not because love is meaningless, but because you did not sign up to be loved like furniture, family, or roommate. You signed up for a romantic partnership. And if that has changed, it needs to be named. Do not let I love you end the conversation. Many partners use I love you as a way to stop the conversation. You say, I feel unwanted. They say, but I love you. You say, I miss sex. They say, but I want to be with you. You say, I feel lonely. And they say, but I'm still here. And then the conversation dies. But I love you does not answer the sexual question. It does not answer, why is sex gone? Do you want it to return? Are you willing to work on it? Is there pain? Is there resentment? Is there loss of attraction? Is there shame? Is there trauma? Is there a medical issue? Are you asexual? Are you autosexual? Are you checked out? Are you avoiding the truth? Do you want a non-sexual relationship now? So when they say, I love you, you can say, I hear that. I believe that you may love me, but love does not answer what is happening to our sexual relationship. I need us to talk about that directly. That is the line. There are different reasons this could happen. Let's not oversimplify here. If they love you but do not want sex, the cause may be different from couple to couple. It may be medical, could be pain, erectile dysfunction, hormonal changes, menopause, low testosterone, pelvic floor dysfunction, chronic illness, cancer treatments, medication side effects, depression, anxiety, fatigue, sleep disruptions. It may be relational, like resentment, emotional disconnection, unresolved conflict, lack of trust, feeling criticized, feeling unseen, years of bad sex, pressure, pursuer distancer cycles. It may be identity-based, asexuality, autosexuality, religious shame, past sexual trauma, body shame, low interest in partnered sex. It may be emotional. They love you as family, but not as a lover. They want stability, but not erotic intimacy. They want to stay, but do not want to rebuild. And those are different problems. That is why I love you is not enough information. You need clarity. This is the key test, willingness. Here is the dividing line. The issue is not simply whether they want sex today. The issue is whether they are willing to understand why sex is gone and participate in a solution. A willing partner may say, I love you, and I know this hurts you. I do not feel desire right now, but I want to understand why. A willing partner may say, I'm scared, embarrassed, and confused, but I will go to therapy. A willing partner may say, I think this may be medical. I will get evaluated. A willing partner may say, I need sex to feel less pressured, but I am willing to build intimacy slowly. A willing partner may say, I do not know if desire can return, but I will not leave you alone in the question. That is different from, I love you, but stop bringing this up. I love you, but nothing is going to change. I love you, but this is your problem. I love you, but I refuse therapy. I love you, but I refuse medical evaluation. I love you, but I expect you to stay monogamous and silent forever. That is not love doing repair. That is love being used as sedative. It calms you down temporarily, but it does not solve anything at the end. Ask for a plan, not reassurance. If you keep asking for reassurance, you may get trapped. They say, I love you. You feel better for a few hours, and nothing changes. You feel unwanted again, and then you ask again. They reassure again. Nothing changes again, and that becomes a loop. So stop asking only, do you love me? Start asking, what are we going to do about this? Because reassurance without action becomes emotional anesthesia. It numbs the pain, but does not heal the wound. Try this. I am not asking whether you love me. I am asking whether you're willing to work with me on our sexual relationship. What specific steps are you willing to take in the next 60 to 90 days? That question changes everything because now they cannot hide behind affection words. They have to show willingness. And this is the 60 to 90 day clarity plan. If they say they love you and want to be with you, then ask for a structured clarity plan. Not forever, not vague promises, not, yeah, we'll see, a real plan. For the next 60 to 90 days, one honest intimacy conversation per week, one medical evaluation if they may be in pain, have ED, hormones, medication effects, depression, anxiety, or other health issues, therapy or coaching if resentment, avoidance, trauma, or disconnection is present, one weekly connection time that is not automatically intercourse, a touch agreement that rebuilds safety, a conversation about what sex means to you both now, a date on the calendar to reassess. And the reassessment question is not only, did we have sex? The questions are, did we talk honestly? Did we touch more? Did we reduce fear? Did we identify barriers? Did both people participate? Did we feel more connected? Did we create any path forward? Because willingness and movement matter. If there is no willingness and no movement, that tells you something. Actually, that tells you everything. This is the conversation script you should use, and use it calmly. I believe you when you say you love me and want to be with me. But I need you to understand that I am lonely and hurting in a relationship without sexual intimacy. I'm not asking you to have sex you do not want. I am asking you to work with me to understand why sex is gone and whether we can rebuild it. I need more than reassurance. I need a plan. Then ask, are you willing to participate in a 60 to 90 day clarity process with me? That is clean. That is not coercion. That is not begging. It is not an ultimatum disguised as therapy. That is an adult request for relational accountability. And if they say yes, if they say yes, get specific immediately. Do not leave the conversation with warm feelings and no structure. Say, thank you. Let's choose the first steps now. Then schedule them. When is the medical appointment? When is the therapy consultation scheduled? When is the weekly check-in? What kind of touch is okay for now? What kind of touch feels pressured? What are we trying first? What are we not doing anymore? What date are we reassessing this? And put it on the calendar. Because vague hope is how couples lose years. Concrete action is how you test whether the relationship can recover. And if they say no, if they say, I love you, but I do not want to work on sex. I love you, but I do not want therapy. I love you, but I do not want a medical evaluation. I love you, but I do not want to talk about this. I love you, but I do not want anything to change. Then you have clarity. Painful clarity, but clarity. At that point, the question becomes, can you freely consent to a relationship where love exists, but sex does not? Can you live in a romantic partnership that may now be companionate? Can monogamy still be fair? Do you need to renegotiate the relationship agreement? Do you need to prepare to leave? Do you need to stop waiting for a person to participate when they have already repeatedly and clearly said no? Because I love you does not obligate you to stay in a relationship structure that is harming you. And if they say, I don't know can be honest, but it cannot become a permanent home. You can say, I can respect that you don't know today, but I cannot live indefinitely in uncertainty. Let's use the next 60 to 90 days to find out with support, honesty, and structure. If they agree, proceed. If they refuse even the clarity process, then I don't know may actually mean I do not want to face this. And that is information for you. These are your options moving forward. If they love you, but sex is gone, you have several possible paths. Option one, rebuild. This means both people participate in medical, emotional, relational, and erotic repair. Option two, redefine sex. Maybe sex cannot look like it used to, but intimacy can include touch, pleasure, sensuality, oral sex, manual touch, toys, erotic play, or non-penetrative connection. Option three, companionate relationship. You both consciously agree that this relationship is loving but non-sexual. That is only fair if both people truly choose it. Option four, renegotiate monogamy. If the relationship is loving but sexless, some couples discuss ethical non-monogamy. That requires explicit consent, boundaries, safer sex agreements, and emotional maturity. Not cheating, not assumptions, not they should have known, not don't ask, don't tell. Option five, separation. Sometimes love exists, but compatibility does not. Sometimes the most honest thing is we love each other, but we cannot meet each other in the relationship structure we created. That is grief, but it may also be truth. This is what you should not do. Do not beg, do not threaten, do not pressure sex, do not accept duty sex as a substitute for desire. Do not cheat and call it survival. Do not pretend you're fine if you're not. Do not let I love you become a muzzle. Do not keep auditioning for desire while they refuse to participate. And do not shame yourself for needing more than words. Words matter. But in relationships, love must eventually become behavior. This is the hard truth. A person can love you and still not be able to give you the relationship you need. A person can love you and still avoid sex. A person can love you and still refuse repair. A person can love you and still be sexually incompatible with you. A person can love you and still keep you in limbo because they're afraid to lose the stability you provide. So do not ask only, do they really love me? Ask, can they love me in a way that allows me to thrive? Are they willing to participate in repair? Are they honest about what they can and cannot offer? Are we both freely choosing this relationship? Or am I surviving on words while my body and heart are starving? That is the real question. So let me ask you, have you ever had a partner say they love you and want to stay, but the sex, affection, and erotic connection were gone? What hurt more? The lack of sex, the lack of answers, or hearing, I love you, while nothing changed? And do you think love without sex can work if only one partner wants it that way? I read the comments, and I know many of you are living this exact confusion. As usual, I wish you safe, healthy, and pleasurable sex of whatever kind you practice. See you next time.